Greetings, VC people, and everybody else out in YouTube land, and happy Black Friday Record Store Day to all. I hope those of you that participate in that and get into it were able to get there plenty early to your record stores, get in line, and hope you got everything that was on your wish list there. And it's been a funny year with these 4 record store days, one right after the other, over the past 4 months. It's going to be a little bit of a shock, I think, to all of us in December when we're thinking, hey, wait a minute, what day is record store day this month? And then realize we're going to have to wait till April to do all this, have all this fun again. But anyway, so I'm going to first off show the things that I picked up for Black Friday RSD, which isn't much, it's only 2 things. And then I'm going to bitch and moan a little bit about the things that I wanted that weren't there. So, first off, every Black Friday Record Store Day, they always have a couple of 2 or 3 Christmas-related releases, albums and singles, which is big fun for me because I love Christmas music and I love collecting the stuff. I've got quite a collection of Christmas albums and singles and so forth. There were 2 Christmas-related releases that I wanted. Didn't get one of them, but I did get the other one. And this is a little bit of a curiosity in that I really don't know what it is. I know what the movie is, but as a precursor to that, last record store day, the one in, I think this was the one in October, it might have been the September one, I picked up the Fleshtones' new album, Face of the Screaming Werewolf, which, there's the inner sleeve, comes on this cool colored vinyl, splatter vinyl. So pretty good album, not the best album, but an enjoyable album. And the reason I say that is that the Fleshtones play into this release that I picked up today. Hooray for Santa Claus! Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which you have the original song. This is a 1964 film. The original song by Milton DeLugg and the Little Eskimos, and then on the flip side is a cover version of the same song by the Fleshtones. So I don't remember the song. I think I've seen, I don't know if I've ever seen this movie all the way through, but I have seen bits and pieces of it through the years. So it's a Christmas classic, I think. I believe it did win Best Picture Academy Award in 1964, if I'm not mistaken. But don't know what the song is. Maybe when I hear it, I'll remember it. Or maybe I've never heard it before, so it'll be something to look forward to. But it's a fun package is mainly why I got it. So it reminds me of records that used to have when I was a little bitty kid that had the fold open covers that usually were like kid songs or storybook things like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Jack and the Beanstalk, that sort of thing. So the cover looks pretty 60-ish, I guess. Kind of neat cover. There's the back with some information if you want to read up about the film. Campy Christmas classic, they called it, that's pricelessly bad and unintentionally funny, as you've heard. And so also talks about another movie I've never heard of, Santa Claus and the Ice Cream Bunny, which was shot in Florida on the beach. So I'll need to look out for that. So definitely sounds up my alley. And then in the fold out, you can pause that stuff if you're really that interested in reading that. I haven't read it yet because I just got home from the record store. So that's the sleeve. Here is the plastic sleeve it came in, which the 45 is on Martian green vinyl. Always exciting when you can get stuff on Martian green vinyl. And as it says, you get a DVD of the movie, which is good because, like I said, I do not know that I've ever actually sat down and watched this, and after I do, I might be sorry that I did, but I'm looking forward to, should be fun, should be goofy like Plan 9 from Outer Space or something, and so looking forward to viewing that classic of cinema in the near future. And as promised, here is the 45 with the sleeve, and there's your exciting Martian green vinyl. You've got Milton DeLugg and the Little Eskimos on one side, and on the flip you've got the Flesh Tones doing the cover of the same song as advertised and promised. Kind of goofy, kind of fun. I'm looking forward to digging into this after I make the video here. So the only other thing that I got was just looking around in the stock, and I saw this, Blows Against the Empire by Jefferson Airplane, which this in truth I believe is a Paul Kantner solo album for all intents and purposes, but he does have several members of the Jefferson Airplane and some other people from other bands on here. It's a pretty good album, which I didn't have. I've only got a couple of Jefferson Airplane albums, Surrealistic Pillow and After Bathing at Baxter's, but this is a good album, and I figured I think it was like $24, and I thought, well, I should probably, if I really want this, just find a used copy for 10-15 bucks. But I went ahead and went with this because it comes on colored vinyl, and here's the inner sleeve with drawings of some of the people that play on the album, and then some other drawings there. But the album comes on this nifty green and black vinyl there, so I figured I'd go ahead and pay the extra money to get the colored vinyl edition, as it were. It's been a while since I've heard this album, but I remember it as being pretty good, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's a inner gatefold for you, and cover, back cover. It is a double thing, so the album was in here, and in this other side we had this thing, and I'll hold that there in case you're interested in reading all that. That's just a little description of the album and so forth, and what it's all about. Kind of nice liner notes. I read those just a few minutes ago. This side just tells who the management and the publishing people and the legal people and all that interesting stuff. This was the hype sticker, which I took off and stuck on there, and you can see that it's 50th anniversary of the album. Green marble vinyl, guest appearances by Jerry Garcia, David Crosby, Mickey Hart, many more, and Grace Slick, limited to 3,000 copies. And you might say to yourself, well, wait a minute, Grace Slick was in Jefferson Airplane, so how's she a guest star on this? As far as I remember and recall, this was, Jefferson Airplane had pretty much fallen apart by this point, which is why it's in reality a Paul Kantner solo album. But he did use some of the people from the old band, and Jefferson Airplane would soon after become Jefferson Starship, which was a whole different thing. But that's why Grace is listed as a guest appearance in her own band, funny as that sounds. Then you also have this, which is some more cool drawings and lyrics to the album, just sort of hippie days type drawings. Some of them are pretty cool there. There's a naked chick riding a dinosaur, and we all always like to see that and encourage behavior as such. So that is what I got for Record Store Day. Unfortunately, I always take off the day after Thanksgiving, and I've been doing that for years, but I had to go in today for half a day because we got several people at work that are out for quarantine for COVID. So someone had to be there for at least part of the day, and so I didn't get out to the record store till about 1:30, 2 o'clock, by which time, of course, everybody had already, all the heathens had run through and ravaged the place. So there was quite a bit of stuff left, but unfortunately very little of what I wanted, which I did kind of want this just for curiosity. This I knew was on the list, but I hadn't really considered it, but it's just kind of an impulse buy when I saw it in the racks. The things that I really wanted: Bangles Doll Revolution, and they did have some copies at the store I went to. Of course, they were long gone by the time I got there, and I think those were only limited to like 1,500 copies. so those went fast. And there's a couple other stores in Fort Worth, but I didn't want to run to the other side of town and mess with all that because I didn't really want to go to work today. Just sort of had to help out. So I was ready to get home. So I just came on home. But missed out on Bengals Doll Revolution. I got home. I checked on eBay just in case to see if there were any available. There are, but they're all buy it now for like 80, 90, $100. I checked and I saw one that was buy it now for $36. Thought, man, yeah, I'm jumping on that. I hit buy it and it's popped back that said, sorry, that one's already sold out. So I missed out on that. Maybe down the road I'll be able to get one because generally those records right after record store day sell for silly prices. But if you check back 6 months or a year or so later, you can get them for a reasonable price most of the time, pretty much what they would have cost in the record store if you got them that day. So I missed out on the Bengals, and I kind of wanted to hear that just out of curiosity because I'd never bought that. I think this is the first time on vinyl. I didn't buy it on CD. I know the song Doll Revolution because it's a song by Elvis Costello and it's on his album When I Was Cruel from 90, late 90s, which I think this album is from late 90s too. I think these albums both came out the same year if I'm not incorrect there. But I haven't heard the rest of the album, so I love the Bengals early stuff from the 80s. Didn't really pay attention to the 2 or 3 albums they released, including this and Place in the Sun, and I think maybe one other in the 90s into the 2000s. So it would be fun to hear. But if I get it, eventually I'll get it. I'm not going to pay $100 or $90 for it. If I don't get it, well, maybe the sun will come up the next day. Maybe it won't. We'll find out. The other thing I wanted was the Christmas related thing, the Charlie Brown Christmas single, the Vince Guaraldi trio, Christmas Time Is Here, because Record Store Day, I don't know how many years ago, several years ago, they put out another one of those in a picture sleeve of Linus and Lucy on colored vinyl. I have that. I should have dug it out to show it to you all, but it's over there and I'm too lazy to get up and walk over there and dig it out right now. So just take my word for it. It's really cool. But yeah, I did find that on eBay and it was like $14 plus $3 shipping. So I went ahead and hit buy it now. So I should be getting that, and that's a good thing. The wasn't a whole lot on this list that I wanted. There was I picked up, they had tons of copies of the Drive-By Truckers, the triple live album, but it's $45. And I was thinking, well, I'm not a huge fan of live albums because you never know how the quality is going to be on them. I think I'll just pass on that. And I think, like I said, I went in there about 2 o'clock and they still had 20 something copies of it. So if I change my mind, I'm sure it'll be around for a while and easy enough to find. I do love Drive-By Truckers. They're one of the few bands past the mid 80s that I like, and they're definitely worth listening to. But a live album, I don't know, maybe down the road I'll pick that up. The other one I wanted, but I figured there was no chance of getting it because I think there's only like 900 or 1,000 copies, was the Rolling Stones Let It Bleed, which I've got 3 or 4 copies of that album already. It's a great album. It's not like I need a 5th copy. But the reason I wanted it was that these, I believe, are hand numbered and very low numbers. There's, like I said, 900 or 1,000 copies made, and each one of them is individual because they're on colored wax, but the copies were individually stamped with different, I don't, splatter wax, I guess, and so every one of them, so they say, looks different and is an individual copy of its own. And it also comes with a poster, which is probably just the poster that came with the original album of Mick and the rest of the big Mick and then the rest of the band down here, I'm assuming. But my store didn't get any of those. When I was watching videos of some of the stores around that were showing their Record Store Day stock the night before Record Store Day, I saw several of them had them, but they went quick, and I checked on eBay, and those things are already selling, or they're already asking like $200 to $500 for them. So it would have been cool if I could have run across a copy, but unfortunately that was not to be. And last but not least, I wanted the Low Straight Jackets Beatles versus Rolling Stones 45 that has them doing I Feel Fine on one side and Jumpin' Jack Flash on the other. But they didn't have any of those either. And I checked on eBay and I saw a copy of that for about 15 bucks. So I may go ahead and spring for that just because that would be fun to have. And that's my record store day. Uh, Not very exciting, but there it is. I didn't pick up the George Harrison single just because I mean, I just, you know, I am looking forward to. I do love both the songs on the single, and I am very much looking forward to the 50th anniversary All Things Must Pass set that's coming up, I guess, next year. We'll see how that goes, but I figure these, I mean, obviously these songs are going to be on that, and if they're going to do a remix, I don't see any reason to get the single. The other thing was the store had probably 30 copies of that single, so even if I did change my mind, which I'm not going to, it's not like it'd be hard to get. They also had 20 or so copies set out again of the McCartney album and the Instant Karma single. So, I don't know. The Beatles do a lousy job with Record Store Day, with the exception of the McCartney picture disc 45 of a couple of years ago that had a couple of unreleased songs from Egypt Station, both of which were really good songs. That's about the only time that the Beatles or the solo Beatles have released anything of interest, in my opinion, for Record Store Day, because they tend to just release these reprints of like the Strawberry Fields 45 or the Instant Karma 45. It's, if I want that, I'll just track down the original. So they don't really give you anything unique or different. Or the McCartney album, love the album, but I've already got a couple of copies of it. If they could have done added an extra bonus track, or they could have done an alternate cover or artwork on the gatefold or something. But anyway, it is interesting. I didn't know that Angola pressed records, so that's what the George single is, My Sweet Lord. But got no interest. It'll be on the box set, no big deal. But hopefully I'll get the Bangles album sooner or later. And that's it. Hope everyone else had a good, great, fun record store day and Thanksgiving, and have a good weekend. Get ready to listen to a lot of Christmas music and have fun.